Hey everyone, welcome back to the Thundertron podcast. So today I'm going to be discussing and giving you my thoughts on the recently leaked images of the upcoming Transformers Legacy United G1 Universe Deluxe Class Gears. Now before we get into my thoughts and the basic information that we have on this figure so far, please leave your thoughts on this figure in the comment section down below. Is it a pickup or a pass? Now getting into the bare bones basic information that we have on this figure so far, starting with the price, as one would assume or guess, it'll most likely be $25. That is the standard or typical price of a deluxe class figure. Well, that being said, it does kind of depend where you purchase or buy your action figures from, because it can sometimes vary around $1 or $2. Sometimes it can be $1 or $2 less, and sometimes it can be $1 or $2 more. But the typical price you see for a deluxe class figure will be $25, not including tax or shipping. Now, getting into the release date, it's really kind of a guessing game right now. It's really your word against someone else's, because no one really knows. I do have to say, none of the figures from Legacy United Wave 2, Gears included, are up for pre-order or purchase on Hasbro Pulse or any action figure sites right now, so there's really no official or confirmed release date. But I will tell you the one I've actually seen the most often, because I did look up, I would say, about 5+ Transformers news sites, and most of them said April. They didn't say a date or time in April. They did not give a specific day. They just said April. So they think at some point in the month of April, we will see these figures being released to the public. Well, that being said, that date, that month, is when we're supposed to be getting them. We do not know when they'll actually be going up for pre-order. So I really do have to stress and kind of make sure you understand. People think it's April, but I really wouldn't have that date or think that date is set in stone until Hasbro actually puts it up on their website, because of course April could be completely wrong. They could post all of Legacy United Wave 2 and it could be April, or it could be earlier, or it could be later. So really it's just kind of a waiting game. I'm not going to say that's a set in stone date or month right now. I will see it as maybe an option or opportunity, but I'm really just going to have to wait and see what Hasbro decides to do for the release date of those figures. But now getting into my thoughts on the figure, I actually think Gears looks pretty good in his world mode. I'm not that big a fan of his alt mode, but I'll get into that in just a sec. But yeah, I think he looks really good. I do like the very simple, very G1, very boxy shape and design to the figure. I'm not a big fan of the proportions. I do know he's a mini bot, so he will be on the smaller side. You do have to prepare yourself for that. He will not be, a large deluxe class figure. He probably will be around Earthrise Cliffjumper size, maybe close to the 86 bronze size. He's gonna be a bit smaller because he's a mini bot. But I'm not a fan of the proportions. I think the head might be a tad too big for the body and the arms and the legs, but it's not the biggest deal in the world. The head sculpt does look good. I just think size-wise it might just be a tad bit too big, but I do like the bright blue, the red, and the silver paint apps and details with that classic Autobot symbol. I just like, again, the bright blue for his eyes or the visor. I do like the small, simple little pistol. I'm actually really glad they included sort of a small, simple weapon, because typically in the G1 series and show, Brawn and Gears never really had sort of a signature weapon. They were more of a hands-on type bot or character. They really didn't have a signature weapon or gimmick. When you think of Optimus, he has his Energon axe, he has his rifle. With Gears and Brawn, they've never really had sort of a signature weapon or gimmick. They're really just kind of using their fists, which I actually kind of like that about them. So I think it's fine that they just include a small little simple kind of pistol or blaster. I think that works for the character. I do like the glossy black, and I think the scope work on the weapon looks really good. Some people have complained about the legs. I see no problem with them. The stock photos aren't the greatest. You do have to keep that in mind, since these are stock photos and they're very early. I'm not even sure where people found these from. How did they get them? I don't even know. I just found them on Transformers news sites. You do have to keep in mind, most of the time with early images, and even when they post Gears up on Hasbro for pre-order or purchase, this could be mistransformed. There could be some major changes that you'll see different once you actually get the figure in hand, or this could look how it does in the end. We really don't know. There's been some times where there'll be like an entire section that's different once we get the figure in hand, or it could be the exact same way. So if you do have some, worries or issues with the figure right now, always keep in mind it could look different in the end, because it's not even up for pre-order purchase. But getting into the alt mode, I'm not the biggest fan. It looks okay. It's kind of a cute, sort of Jeep truck type car. I'm not a big fan of the wheel placement because I think the wheels are too low, like too far away from the rest of the body of the car. Because typically with the wheels on the car, they're pretty much, deep in connected to the car. These seem a bit too far away and like detached from the car. It's kind of hard to describe. I've seen other people complain about the alt mode, and I understand their complaints too, but it's really hard to describe what I'm thinking and how I'm feeling about the alt mode. But it just doesn't work for me that much. It seems a bit odd. I think the wheels again are a bit too separated and distant from the alt mode. It's cute, I know what they were going for. It just doesn't work for me that well. It's not a bad alt mode. I just think it could be better in its appearance. And if you're wondering about weapon storage, the blaster can store on the top of the car. I will have all the images I can and put them on the screen right now for you to see. And it does look like there's several other mechtic ports or areas to store the weapons. That's probably not the only way you can put that weapon. But we actually do have some pictures of the box. The front of the box actually looks really cool. I do like that really nice action shot of Gears in his car mode, with his blaster on the top, and of course the typical open window showing the figure on the package. And as for the back of the box, the figure does transform in 12 steps. That's actually not very many steps. I'm kind of interested to see how they would do this figure in so little steps. I mean, it's a deluxe, but still, most deluxes I'd say are pretty close to, 19 to 25 steps. So that's not very many. And of course, there's the traditional product shot of both the alt mode and the robot mode. And one interesting sort of feature or gimmick you can do with this figure, which I actually did not know is going to be on this figure to begin with, is you can actually open up the chest and reveal some really cool kind of internal detailing and wiring and circuitry, which I think is a really cool gimmick. Unfortunately, there is not really a good close-up shot. The only way we know of this gimmick is if you do look at the back of the box, there's a smaller product shot that shows that gimmick. It's kind of like, when there was the Evo Fusion gimmicks, it would say Evo Fusion and there would be a small little picture of what that gimmick is. It's kind of like that. There's just a small little picture there. There's an arrow of the chest opening up. So you can open up the chest and show some really cool internal detailing, which I actually do quite like, but hopefully we'll get some better product shots and images once this figure is actually posted on Hasbro for purchase and pre-order. But that's really all I have to say. There's not that many pictures, so there's not really a lot to go on. I think the robot mode looks solid. The alt mode, not my favorite, but definitely not, I would say, a bad alt mode. But that's really all I have to say. I do hope you enjoyed this Thundertron podcast. Again, let me know your thoughts on this figure in the comment section down below, and I will see you next time.